Namaste, I'm Dhruvika, design team member at Craft Angles. Today I have three fall cards for you using the same stamp set called Celebrate You. This is a beautiful photopolymer stamp set by Craft Angles which contains a beautiful flower and multiple sentiments to go along. To begin with, I'm taking the dual textured cardstock by Craft Angles, and I will be using some heat embossing using the white powder and clear embossing powder. To begin with, I'm taking a panel which measures 4 by 3 inches, and now I'm just prepping it up with some anti-static powder. Once this is ready, I'll peel off my stamp set and the flower such that it only has the flower and not the stem. So I'll place it accordingly. Once I'm sure where exactly do I want to put in, I will close the door of my Misty tool and then put very generously the Versamark fine ink, clear ink, and that is how I'll be stamping my flower. Once this is done, I will be sprinkling very generously the white embossing powder and I shall be heat embossing it. So this is how it looks after I've heat embossed it. Now I'm prepping the base and it measures 11 by 4.25 inches. And to begin with, I'm using this braids stencil by Craft Angles, and I'm just going to make a border from this particular base. So rather than adding any pattern paper, I'm going to use this stencil. So I'm using the wild honey and I'm just going to brush in some ink very generously, and so it will make a border before I stick my main panel.
I'm sure this doesn't move. Just like this. So after it is done, if you see, it's a beautiful border which is going to keep in when I place my flower like this. So this is a technique where you can use.
I'll just place my top panel and see how it looks. I think it looks quite okay, but on the edges I'm going to make it a little darker out there so that it comes up perfectly. Now coming back to our main panel where we had heat embossed, I am going to do some ink smooshing. So I'm taking some wild honey, some scattered straw, and then I'm going to just spray with some water using my Misty spray. And now I'm taking a piece of acetate and I'm just going to put it across. This will give me a better control and handling over my panel. So I'll go through it very generously, keeping the lower side a little dark and coming up to it a little lighter. So that will give me also another gradient. So I'm using this acetate because it lets me see what is happening.
Let it dry. And in the meantime, I'm also taking some more stripes of this, and I'm just using halfway through. I'm not going to use it full. So just like this, and keep this aside.
Now I'll prep up one panel with some saged green distress ink. You can use any other of your choice. This is just to make some kind of texture onto the leaves, because while I already have the flower, I wanted some leaves also there. So now I'm doing the same ink smooshing over it. I already had some green, but now also smooshed in for some texture. Now using this particular leaf die, I'm just going to cut, and now see I have placed my leaves in there, and now we'll be putting this panel. So this will give me an additive dimension to my card. Now for the sentiments, I'm going to use So Happy For You, which is from the stamp set from all of us. I'm again now going to take the cardstock in black, which is the jet black or the charcoal black cardstock. I'm going to heat set the sentiments using the white embossing powder, and I'll trim it according to the length.
So while I've stuck all this is the card.
After I've put all my elements out there, it says thinking of you, and my card is ready.
Ink smooshing. So this is where
Hope you enjoy it. This is a beautiful, easy to make card, which is again the fall themed card. For my next card, I'm using the craft sheet, which also comes by Craft Angles, and another ivory sheet, which you can also find on the Craft Angles website by the name Desert Lace. I'm using the script stamp set and some white ink. To begin with, I'm going to take the craft panel, which again measures 3.75 by 4 inches, and I'm going to stamp the scripts stamp using the Hero Arts white unicorn ink. So that will give me some kind of added interest onto the craft sheet. On to the main panel, which again measures 11 by 4.25 inches. I'm going to add one washi tape which I have, which is beautiful white and black stripes. If in case you don't have it, you can use any other washi tape, or you can actually make a panel out of it. So I thought I'll use it. It'll give some 3D effect. So I place it there, and that is where I will be placing my craft panel. Now before doing that, I'm now going to stamp the flower image again using the same stamp set called the Celebrate You from the Celebrate You stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp it using the black ink. So you see that my flower is completely stamped. Now I'm going to paste it to the card base, and I'm using the glossy accent. I find it is very beautifully, it is a beautiful product and sticks very well. So now I also have another strip of the glitter paper, which I've already cut in a very thin slice. So this I'm going to add in. This is one of those ideas wherein I got inspired by another DT, Archisha, where she used the mirror cardstock, but I thought I'll use this sparkle glitter paper. Now using the gold acrylic color, I'm going to add some lines here to there on the flower to accentuate it along with the glitter paper that I have used. So now that is done, I'm just trimming off the excess glitter paper that I have, and I will be sprinkling some splatters of white, black and gold that will give a 3D and look and some texture. Finally, I've completed the look of the card by adding the sentiments called "You Make Me Happy." For my last card, I wanted to do some ink blending, so I'm using the same stamp set called Celebrate You, beautiful stamp and the flower. So I'm using this particular paper from the cardstock, which is dual texture. I'm going to stamp my flower image on it.
This one like this, and then I'm taking some tweaked.
I'm using the colored inks directly onto the stamp such that I will just color it very lightly. For the outside petals, I'm using the wild honey. For the inside, I'm using the walnut stain and some peeled paint on the leaves. Now I'm just moistening it with my mister And now if you see, it looks a beautiful flower there. Yes, so now I will be just stamping some more leaves using the same peeled paint distress ink.
कथा ज़्यादा सुनाते हैं ये लोग मुझे बस.
Once I'm happy with my stamping, with using little color and paint which is very thin, I'm just filling up the inside of the flower. I'm not going to make it very dark, and it is just because our background is going to be very saturated. So if in case the background is saturated, this is very dark, so it will all conflict with each other. So just with some little color and diluted water, I am going to fill in the colors. Once I'm happy, I'm going to just fussy cut it for you. And once I'm done, I have ink blended the panel using the barn red, some orange, and that is it. If you see in the center, I have kept it very light, and going outside, it is the barn red color which I have used. You can use different shades as well. I'm going to use a panel of the corrugated paper that I have, and I've just cut it, torn it with my hands. Now this is the same flower that we had made it ready. So I'm just pasting it. The leaves, I'm just coloring up the leaves like that, very roughly, because main center is the flower. The leaves are just there to attach, and with that I'm going to attach some glitter paper leaves also, because I think that will add some glitter, some jazz into the card. So if you see, I've added the glitter paper leaves, and I finished saying, hope your day is amazing. Hope you like my cards and you enjoyed as much